It's an object which has been located in Brunnshog as a kind of potent explosion into the current situation.
Jag hade inte riktigt väntat mig detta.
What is it doing here? Why is it here? Why does it have 3 crosses on it?
We were in one of the first meetings with the people from the cathedral, and the conversation got round to the fact that they wanted to develop the land with the values of the church as being central to it. And I thought, God, that's fascinating. That you could sell land and build houses on it with the values of the church. So we spent about an hour trying to write down what those values were. I think we got 2 of them. We got 2 that we could agree on.
Konst i det här sammanhanget som vi pratar om nu med Nathen Coley handlar ju om att på något sätt synliggöra tankar, frågor och funderingar som leder vidare till nya tankar, frågor och funderingar. Och detta handlar om att skapa framtiden.
And together with White Architects, we developed a program that would provide a platform for discussion about what was going to happen on this land owned by the cathedral on the outskirts of Lund. And we decided to focus very much on the world of art and architecture, so to commission artists, architects, thinkers, writers to discuss what this place might be. So the whole programme turned into a series of questions and discussions and ideas as to what the future might hold.
I think what was incredibly useful with Nathan's commission is the idea of this sort of teaser, this sort of sign which is saying something is happening and the church is involved in the centre of Lund, and then the idea now that this has been moved out onto their site, so it becomes, Råängen becomes an actual place. It's a marker on a physical site which will then sort of, it will start to engage people in a very different way.
The thing that is incredibly important to remember when it comes to this sculpture is who owns the land upon which it sits, Lund Cathedral, and that changes the whole dynamic of the piece when you know that.
The sculpture that I've made is not performative. There's no invitation to dwell inside, to congregate. It's not a religious building, it's a sculpture which takes on the language of a migrant church which no longer exists. So in a sense it's the echo of something which was something else. And I think the architecture that was made manifest in the original was an act of faith. And I think my sculpture is an act of art. And I think it's the conversation between those 2 things which is going to be interesting.
När jag först hörde att titeln skulle vara And We Are Everywhere så tänkte jag direkt på de senaste Bond-filmerna. Mr. White som är den stora skurken som säger just så. Så först ryckte jag till lite grann. Jag tyckte det var otäckt nästan. Att ja, hotet mot tillvaron finns överallt. Jag är inte så säker på att det är det som Nathen Coley menar.
We Are Everywhere has been appropriated and used throughout social and political history as a slogan for very early gay pride marches. It's been used by far-right organisations in Eastern Europe. We Are Everywhere as a slogan for political change. It's currently being used by the Right to Bear Arms movement in America. So there's a whole mixture of appropriations of the phrase We Are Everywhere. And I think And We Are Everywhere pushes it into a slightly different context, and it feels like it's from a larger paragraph, a larger discussion.
Det andra jag reagerade på det var att jag tycker att verket ser ut som en provisorisk kyrka i ett flyktingläger. Och ibland i vår debatt i Sverige så pratar vi väldigt isolerat om hur vi i Sverige ska förhålla oss till flyktingarna som är här. Och vi konstaterar att över 150 000 människor sökte sin tillflykt i Sverige under ett enda år. Men vi skulle också behöva prata om de 60 miljoner flyktingar som finns överallt. Och då blir på något sätt titeln på det här verket ett rop på hjälp.
I think the problem in Europe with mass migration is central to what the future is going to be. And so for me that seems like a really interesting area that culture should be talking about. And I think that should be of central discussion within the church, and it should be central discussion within politics and in the private home as well.
So what Nathen does with nearly all of his projects, his exhibitions, his public works, is create a dialogue with the audience and to create an active participant in a conversation about not just the work they're looking at, but their place in the world. So immediately I think most people, when they're walking past this artwork or they're driving past it, it will just pose a series of questions. What is it doing here?
You know, there have been people coming past every day. It's been pretty much invisible. People have just seen, you know, another building going up, and then there were basically this one shift that happened when the crosses went on, and it completely shifted everyone's perception of the building or from the sculpture, and basically cars start to stop. You know, you do get the same Instagram effects as you did, in a different way, I think, from heaven.
Och när det gäller hela Brunnshögsområdet och det som nu växer fram, så kommer det växa fram en ny stadsdel i Lund med forskning, bostäder och affärer och restauranger. Men nu får vi med hjälp av konsten och arkitekturen med former och bildspråk en föraning om att det kommer någonting nytt. Och det är inte alltid man har förmånen att få uppleva det nya komma. Men det är lite grann av vad konsten hjälper oss att göra just nu.
There will maybe be, you know, a family having a conversation in 2050 about this weird artwork that went up in 2018, a long time ago, and there'll be this sort of, you know, the narrative that is built up in this new town. Like, do you remember when this was just fields and there was that strange sculpture in the middle of it, and it all becomes a kind of another opportunity to kind of project yourself into the future and the past.
I hope the sculpture is loved. I think it will be, and I think it will also be probably hated. I genuinely would be disappointed if it's ignored. Other than that, I'm hopeful that it's going to surprise us all, that it's going to transcend all the things that I want it to be, and that it's going to genuinely accrue meaning due to it being out in the world for 9 months. Hence the reason for building it, to see what will happen.